that's it. We just want to win for our team.
My goodness! And everyone finishes it!
Yeah, we're just as good as men. We're better.
It's a huge point for the Bay Area.
Good chance that's the #1 highlight of the week.
Good morning, Winter Haven! We are coming to you live for week number 10, day number 3, and we are about to start the action, the final day of action, right here at Major League Table Tennis, where the action is going down. Tailgaters from outside, come on in, because the battle is about to begin. First, let's welcome our officials, Wendy Pan and Jovana Knežević. And the first team to enter the arena has moved up to second place. They've got 197 points and they are on their way. A warm welcome for Princeton Revolution. And their opponents at the top of the food chain with 255 points. Put your hands together for Carolina Gold Rush! Alrighty, now that all the warriors are here, let's shake some hands, let's slap some skins, and let the games begin!
And here we go on a Super Sunday in Winter Haven, Florida from the Advent Health Complex. In Winter Haven, it's the Princeton Revolution and the Carolina Gold Rush. Both these teams have had fantastic weekends so far. Carolina's 2-0 with 32 points, back-to-back 16-5 wins. Princeton's 2-0 with 29 points. And the Revolution, more significantly, have risen past the Florida Crocs in the standings. Today's a huge day. The top two in the East will make the playoffs. There are only 4 regular season matches left for all of these teams. Carolina's a clear #1, but who's going to finish the weekend #2? That is very much up in the air as we welcome you to Winter Haven. Good morning. Happy Super Sunday with Matt Hetherington. I am Evan Lepler. The Princeton Revolution have won 9 of 11. They are the hottest team in the league, except for maybe Carolina. It's easy to forget about them just because they keep they're 15-3. They've dominated all season long. This is a really important match, though, for Princeton today to try to head back to home to New Jersey for March with a playoff berth in sight.
Yeah, I mean, the position that they're in, obviously they've moved into second for the first time. The margin that they're in second place by now is pretty small, and of course the Crocs will play against the Chicago Wind. So for the Princeton Revolution, it's about snatching as many points as they can off of the top team in this match.
There's plenty of intriguing matchups, some of which we've seen before on the agenda over the next couple of hours, starting with the #1 player in the league, Enzo Angles, against Princeton's #1 player, Jishan Liang. Matt, both these guys have had fantastic weekends. Both have won 5 of the 6 games they've played in singles. We'll delve more into that matchup momentarily. What else catches your eye on the slate we've got looking ahead?
I think singles #4, again, I mean, Wang Jinshen played really great across the weekend so far. Rahman yesterday was outstanding. So we're certainly seeing matchups between players that have had probably some of their best performances. So definitely singles 1 and 4 stand out. Obviously, singles 3, we have an attack versus defense, which is one of my favorite things to watch, so that's going to be interesting too.
In that third singles match, DeSantalan and Zhang, the only first-time matchup in MLTT that we're seeing today. You know, singles 1 and singles 4, Jishan and Enzo have played 3 times previously. Jinshin and Roman have played 3 times previously, so there's a lot of history with those matchups, and there's a lot of mystery with how DeSantalan and Zhang will match up. Let's dive into Jishan versus Enzo. Jishan Liang has been fantastic. He dominated Mark Duran here on Friday night, and then yesterday took 2 out of 3 from Sasha Hanin. Lost the first game against Sasha, but took games 2 and 3. Meanwhile, Enzo has been his typically steady and reliable, consistent self, particularly yesterday against Florida when he demolished Daniel Gorak in singles and then helped lead the top-ranked Carolina doubles team to a 3-0 sweep as well. Carolina was excellent yesterday, and they certainly expect Enzo to set the tone. What do you think Jishan can do to change the pace against Anglaise?
Well, ironically, just that, change the pace. I think Jishan typically has been a player that's, he comes out and he looks for opportunities to try and win points outright with the forehand. But I think across this weekend, we've seen him kind of play in a little bit more of a tempered manner. So he's got to be willing to play some more shots to win points. Of course, Enzo is going to be aggressive. So
wicked opening return there from Anglaise, setting the tone. A 1-0 lead for Carolina here in this opening singles match.
1-1.
I mentioned it's the 4th meeting between Jishan and Enzo. Enzo has won all 3 previous matchups. One was a 3-0 sweep, the other were 2-1 wins. Shots like that tell the story. His first few points for Anglaise here. And kind of explain why we were so surprised when he came out on Friday in doubles and didn't look like he was ready to go.
Yeah.
Because so consistently he comes out and from point 1, he's going for everything. There's just not a whole lot of hesitation with his style of game, and he doesn't work his way into a match. He's ready to go at 100 at the start, almost always, but Friday that was not the case. Of course, he still figured out how to win 2 out of 3 in the doubles match with Hong Lin, and then took 2 out of 3 in singles too. Asked Enzo yesterday if he'd ever asked Jishan for advice on how to bring the best out of Hong Lin, because Hong Lin is Enzo's doubles partner and Jishan's life partner. For the record, Jishan has not had too many conversations with Enzo about that. Jishan's not playing doubles today, so he won't match up with his wife unless they square off in the Golden Game, which would be fascinating for so many reasons, particularly with Valentine's Day just 3 days away.
3-6.
both players are looking to get in as early as possible with the more aggressive shots. Jishan's eased into the rally a bit. A little bit kind of tempered down from his usual.
Good return from Liang. And he's back within one here in this opening game.
levels
Six.
things up. So Jishan looking to play slower into the backhand, slow and spinny into the backhand, and faster cross court. It's always interesting seeing two left-handers play against each other.
Why does he want to play slower into Enzo's backhand?
I think just the heavier spin is harder to control and it's harder to counter as well.
7-6.
So usually especially if you step around and you leave the table open, you don't want to play fast into a place that's easier to control. He tries to get back in for the counter, and
Gold rush.
Liang takes the lead here in game 1.
Got a frustrated foot stomp from Enzo after that sequence. Got back in the point with a chop.
Jishan was feeling pretty confident this morning.
6,
He's won the
9.
last 6 points to transform a 3-point deficit into a 3-point lead. Trying to take game 1. And a foot stomp
9,
from Liang as he
7.
sails it long. Big time hitting from both
9,
players. And Angles is back within 1.
Very difficult to come out on top in a counter loop rally with Enzo, especially across that forehand diagonal.
Liang has created a first game point here in this match.
Eight, 10. Gold rush to serve.
Jishan Liang takes game 1. So went with the short ball toss there. Serving game point down. And Liang with an impressive rally. Jishan wins 8 of the final 10 points in that opening game, and it's Princeton off to a fine start on this Sunday morning in Florida.
This season. We're going to talk a lot about spin. He very rarely gets beaten, even a game. And Jishan Liang just took it in a close match. You might have seen a little bit of frustration. There was a ball that hit the edge of Jishan's racket and still went into play. Times you'll see players raise their hand to apologize or acknowledge fortune, as if they win a point hitting the net or the edge. Sometimes the edge of their racket. Anything funky that happens that wasn't intentional, typically someone will acknowledge. There's some celebration here, and that could get in a player's head. So remember, 3 games no matter what.
Just like
right now,
half the games we've seen throughout the season.
When you see a good
Opening
point,
contest
check out
here
that
decided by
screen
3
right
points
after.
or less.
Timing on court won't be nearly as interesting
Literally
as the
entering
professional
today,
replays
Matt,
that we've got.
49.9% of all games in MLTT have been decided by 3 points or less. Speaks to the competitive balance, the fight we've seen from all the players, and just the caliber of competition.
Second game.
How surprised
Gold
are
rush
you?
to serve.
You said that Jishan was confident. How much
0-0.
confidence did you have in Jishan here today against Enzo?
It's a good question. I think from a technical skill
1-0.
standpoint, if Jishan's playing well, then I would say he can put himself on a level playing field. At the end of the day, it really comes down to tactics.
0-2.
Enzo getting on the board quickly off the back of 2 serves.
Ball in the corner.
Behind.
So
Point.
Anglais calls for a let.
He's going to walk over and grab it himself. While he does that, you can see on screen the link for the
0-2.
Major League Table Tennis Fantasy League. As far as I know, it's the first fantasy league in table tennis. Fantasizer.com. You can
1,
play
2.
each weekend or try and go for the glory of winning the season, which I'm not sure if any of us are in contention for that anymore, but
2.
it's been good fun to have a bit more of a vested interest in some of the players and some of the matches.
Let.
Something to note here. There's obviously a long way to go to this match, and really the first 2 days of this weekend have kind of been defined by players losing the first game and then coming back to win games 2 and 3. Enzo is far from out of this. But it feels like it would be kind of a shooting star to see Enzo lose a singles match. We have not seen that very often this year. He has played 18 singles matches. You know how many he's lost? 2.
Yeah, to Damien and I can't remember.
Sasha.
Sasha, yeah.
That same weekend in Chicago.
2-5.
Right now he's hoping to turn things around here.
Beg your pardon. It wasn't the same weekend. Lost to Damien on his birthday.
Yeah,
in
that
Myrtle
part I
Beach.
remember.
And Sasha got Enzo 2 games to 1 in Chicago. Enzo has not been swept all season long.
Jishan's got to be careful trying to push into these forehand cross-court battles. Enzo is a very consistent player in the counter loop rallies.
Seven, 2.
What has Enzo Anglais
Revolution.
done
District.
differently here in game 2 from your seat?
I think he's certainly been more aggressive with the forehand, especially on the step around. But he's really trying to break those wider angles out into the forehand corner. If he can force Jishan into a forehand counter loop situation, he's got to like his odds of coming out on top.
9-3.
Sure looks like we're going to get a rubber game.
10.
I think we've definitely seen some more serve variations from Enzo as well.
(11-3) for Enzo Anglais.
Gold rush.
That is a first-class response after dropping game 1, and Jishan and Enzo going the distance to decide who will take this opening singles match, trying to set the tone for the Super Sunday here in Winter Haven, Florida.
I'm gonna make it personal. What's your name? Justin, I'm Adam. Carla, nice to meet you.
So the #1 player in the league,
Time.
Enzo Anglais, with a dominant 11-3 victory in game number 2. Enzo now sits at 6-2 in singles games this weekend. That puts him at 43-13 for the season.
And every game counts for their power
Time.
rating
With one
within
more still to play here.
Third game. Revolution to serve.
Of course, Enzo's
0-0.
playing doubles in a little bit as well.
1-0.
See how Jishan adjusts his tactics, perhaps. That's a nice angle on the forehand down the line.
Great placement there.
He hooked it. Can you teach me that shot?
Sure.
As nonplussed as ever. Matt Hetherington, ladies and gentlemen.
Great performance from both players. Jishan making a great decision there. Not to get completely stuck in forehand. He's got to move the ball around more once he gets into those rallies. And Enzo sends the ball down the line. Nobody was home on that one.
Very rare for Enzo to just play the ball back to get it back on the table. He is almost always going for his shot, no matter where he is, whether he's on the table or whether he's been forced back.
3-3.
Rack it up in the air from Jishan. Enzo taking a slow and steady towel break there at 3 points each.
Gold rush.
And
That's ridiculous.
what a setup from Jishan. Drops the ball over the side and just blitzes the next ball.
That's a nice imitation of Enzo's shot from yesterday. Same side of the table.
Mm.
Four. Oh.
Smart play there from Enzo.
Into the body.
Yeah, sometimes when the ball pops up and you have a player wondering which wing it's going to, just
right at him.
Send the ball right at him.
Let's.
Players will switch sides after this point.
Five.
Jishan now will switch ends with the lead.
If Jishan's able
to
take 2 out of 3 here, it would clearly be his finest weekend performance of the season. Frankly, even if he loses this game, you can make that case for how well he's played the first 2 days. Really glad we got this matchup. That's just great determination from Anglais.
Oh.
The swing along with the vision.
He did a really good job there of keeping the ball in the backhand half right until the end.
Boom. Wow. Caught a break
5,
with a net
6.
ball. It's been a fun match. Six all.
See Jishan going for that setup
6.
again. Drop the ball a little bit over the side. Wait for Enzo to pick the ball up.
Haven't spent too much time focusing in on Hong Lin sitting over on the Carolina bench. Has to be a tricky match for her to watch.
Well, she looks like she's enjoying herself.
No matter who wins, Hong Lin wins this match, I think.
Enzo trying to get in early on that
6.
ball.
Six, 8. Gold rush.
So Andres finds himself down 2 here. Game 3. Couple serves coming up. Miss hit by Angles.
6, 9.
He knew it immediately, and Jishan Liang
Gold rush.
closing
Warning.
in on a huge victory
your-
for Princeton.
Import.
You know what that was about?
6, 9.
I'm not sure.
Oh, Liang thought he had it, and he can't believe he missed
9,
it.
7.
Still got a 9-7 lead. Don't let that point beat you twice, Jishan. As big of a reaction as we've seen from him after a point all season. That was to make it
9-7.
10-6.
Revolution.
But he does have a couple of serves here. Angles back within 1.
9, 8.
We're going to get a Princeton timeout here.
And
Timeout,
here is the
Revolution.
timeout for Princeton Revolution.
This is a big moment for the Princeton Revolution.
Princeton Revolution.
Very good
I
performance.
think we all saw emotionally how impactful the point before was. It is rare to see a player lie down on the court till
Now
the
think
match
about the
is
good
over.
things.
That's
When
pretty much
he's
the
making
only
spin
time.
and you make counter loop, you go really in the
9-6.
ball a little bit earlier,
In
okay?
game number 3,
Just this.
this
And expect always
Jishan
steal
had
the
it
ball.
way out of position. He knew he
One
had a
more
good
important thing.
opportunity
You
to
see that
capitalize,
works. If you
but an
if you serve
undying
to your
effort.
forehand,
There's a
you give
scar. Well,
push,
it's not a scar
you
yet,
push,
but it's a bloody
half
knee
long,
mark
everything is okay.
from yesterday
Okay?
when Enzo rolled into the barriers. This floor
Now
is
confident.
not forgiving. It's professional and it's got traction for a reason. As you can see, these guys move fast. If you're newer to professional table tennis, they're wearing professional table tennis shoes.
Half long.
Those exist? Yes, they do. Why? Because this lateral movement is so important. You need to have shoes that are thin soled, low to the ground, and
Then you can go for
round
counter
edges
after
so
this.
that you don't tip and snap your ankle.
Come on, Jishan. Positive.
Keep your eyes on those feet. Crucial points here. Jishan Liang up by 1.
How do you feel about the half-long request from Jin Chin Wong?
Yeah, I mean, it's worked really, really well for Jishan, especially that drop over the forehand edge of Enzo.
1-1, 9-8. Revolution to serve.
I mean, Jishan is a player that usually feels pretty confident making big forehand counters, so if he can get a softer opening from Enzo, there it is again.
Ten 8 lead for Liang.
10.
Enzo saw a chance there to get the ball down the line. Well thought out point there from Jishan. Again, starting with that
8, 10.
kind of half-long
Gold
drop
rush.
over the forehand edge of Enzo. Enzo is ahead of it this time.
10.
Doesn't let the ball drop over the side. gets in and takes it early. Makes a huge difference in shot quality. Now it's going to be interesting to see how Jishan receives this very important serve.
It's broken.
Enzo gets a new ball. Said the other ball was wet. 9 serving 10. Deep serve to tie it up and create a golden point.
Alrighty, you know what it is. Say it with me. Golden point.
Hong Lin, stressful moments for a teammate and a wife. Her teammate Enzo, her wife Jishan serving at 10-all. Husband Jishan and Liang with a winner.
Finish.
11-10 for Liang. Angles with a smile on his face. Can't help but respect that put away.
Don't know if anybody saw that coming.
Wow, what a crazy finish.
Look at Enzo's face.
Respect.
I'm so happy you guys showed up when you did. The #1 player in the league, Enzo Anglais, is rarely touched, let alone came down to golden point. If you want to hear what Jishan Liang had
Big smile on Matthias Habason's face. You understand why. Jishan Liang just took 2 out of 3 from Enzo Anglais. Jishan, congratulations. You just did something that only 2 other players in the East have done this year, which is to beat Enzo in a best out of 3 match. How'd you do it?
Yeah, basically he's left hand, I'm also left hand, so I can now do a lot of serve attack, and we also played before 3 times I lost. Every time I think the astrology, because I step around too much and sometimes miss some forehand, so also my backhand get better, so I tell myself just stay on backhand and backhand, forehand both. Yeah.
And obviously against Enzo, his service level for the league is really good. You have to have been pretty happy with how you received, especially getting those kind of half-long drops over the edge. How confident were you, if you made those receives, that you'd be able to play really well with your forehand against his ball?
Yeah, because I'm ready. We was played before, and I always thinking he might change and he might do something else, but he don't really change, and basically forehand short and backhand long. I was pushed too much and push and block not work because he can continue to forehand really well, so I have to start attack first.
What were you thinking at 10-all before that final
10-all
point?
because we was play a lot of 9-9 or 8-8 before. Whatever I serve, he tried to flick because he know also I'm trying to step around. And this time I try to serve side underspin. If he push, I loop. He flick to my forehand ready. So
perfect read.
Congratulations,
Okay.
Jishan. We'll see you in the Golden Game in a little bit. Thank you. So surprising start to our day today. Jishan with a great weekend. He goes 7-2 in singles. Enzo not too shabby at 6-3, but Jishan has the last laugh, at least in the singles match department. We'll see about the Golden Game. Yevgen Prishepa takes the table now against Bastian Dupont. These 2 players have met 1 time this season in a match, but it was back in September, so it was a while ago. Dupont took 2 out of 3 from Prishepa.
One, zero.
Now Carolina's 4-0 against Princeton this year. 3 of the 4 times Carolina had a lead going into the Golden Game. Princeton did have a 10-5 lead against Carolina back in October heading into the Golden Game, only to see the Gold Rush come from behind and win 21-19 in a bit of a stunner. One of just the 2 examples of a team coming from 5-0 down this year. Pashepa on the board after falling behind 3-zip. Yevgen took 2 out of 3 from Daniele Pinto yesterday. Bastian Dupont lost 2 out of 3 to Ojo Onaolapo.
Dupont's looking pretty aggressive out there.
Come out sharp. The standings coming into the day. Princeton now at 199 points.
Good placement from Dupont in the rallies is keeping Pashepa out of that comfort zone. I mean, we've seen Yevgen Pashepa play when he's kind of comfortable in that mid-distance. A very smooth and consistent player.
7-2.
There's a pretty good chance, Matt, that Carolina is going to mathematically clinch a playoff spot by the end of the day today. And they
3-7.
entered the day with a 62-point lead over the team that's in 3rd place. If they finish the day with a 63-point lead or more, that'll basically, 64-point lead would punch their ticket for sure. That's the mathematical explanation. Realistically,
7-5.
Carolina is going to championship weekend.
Pashepa's starting to pick things up out there.
What are the things you think about when you see 2 players that are kind of mismatched from a size standpoint? Obviously, Yevgen has about 6 inches on Bastian. Carolina's taking a timeout here. Dupont off to a great start. I want to get your answer to that question. Let's listen in here.
Play too more aggressive. Only one. Okay, it's back open. Why 2 times push? Straight push.
Much like in the United States. Who knew? Who knew? Some parts of the world is 119. Some places I don't even know. But right now, it's emergency time. So
Yeah.
calling 911, they call timeout.
You play more aggressive. You know, open is kill.
And also sometimes service one is better because service one can push and they get time.
And in the serve you push, they open. Don't let him open. You can use the backhand. Long serve, use forehand open.
Kind of echoing the same sentiments that
Back from the
Coach Yang
timeout.
brought up yesterday in Dupont's match. I mean, Dupont came out onto the table here, got the first ball into the rally by being aggressive, and had a great start. But we've seen Pashepa starting to flick more into the rally, or he's the one that's taking the initiative, and you can see how things are changing around now. Dupont finds the counter.
Eight all here in this opening game of the second singles. This will be 3 of the first 4 games that'll be decided by 3 points or less to start this Super Sunday. catching an edge. DuPont
9-8.
back on front by 1.
After having such a strong lead, DuPont knows he has to win this first game. Mentally, it would be pretty impactful if Przeppa was able to win here.
Best point of the match so far.
9,
Przeppa winning the
9.
battle of forehands. 9-all. Perhaps I shouldn't have said battle of forehands. There were plenty of good backhands mixed in there too. And Przeppa leads for the first time in this game. And he's got a game point on his serve. Nine of the last 11 points for Przeppa. And he closes it out
11-9.
with a fantastic flick down the line. What a comeback, and Przeppa and the Revolution are looking strong. Jishan set the tone, and Przeppa takes the baton. Tremendous comeback to take game 1 over Bastien DuPont.
You guys will introduce yourselves later. Oh, I thought you had an MLC t-shirt on earlier. Can I see it? I want to see what it looks like. I've seen them before. They have some cool varieties, but yours looks especially like swaggy, swanky, swiggy, swami, Swanson, Samsonite. Okay, here it is. It's coming out of the bag slowly. It's inside out. That means you sweat into it, right? That's your way of distinguishing what needs to be washed from what. That's so fancy. I'm going to start washing clothes in the future. Oh, the VIP seat. I like it. These come with free shirts, by the way. Did you know that? You got them. Oh, man. By the time it's up to you guys, your seats are in a place now where if you change...
Well, Matt, you said around 8-8 that it was really important for DuPont to win that game. He was unable to do it. How does he respond? What should his mindset be returning to the table, knowing that he's lost 10 of the last 12 points?
Just got to be assertive. It's like Alex Yang's been telling him on the bench. If you push a ball, you've got to try and attack the next one. It's an assertive mindset of get in first. You don't necessarily have to kill the first ball, but get yourself into the rally with at least some advantage and then get on the attack.
That caught the edge.
0-2.
And DuPont takes the 2-0 lead.
He's got to attack those shots. And, you know, Przeppa, he plays really solid off both wings, backhand and forehand. But the pace is kind of maybe around 70%. He's not playing big, hard, fast swings. So there are opportunities for DuPont to take control of the rallies as well if he applies a little bit more acceleration in his shots or a little bit more pressure from his side.
1-3.
Przeppa on the board here in game 2. That game 1 win gave Princeton their 200th point of the season. They are the second team in the league to reach that total, along with, of course, Carolina.
1-4.
Let me put it this way. If Florida doesn't get 200 points later today, they're in big trouble. So they came into this weekend with not a comfortable lead by any means, but a solid lead.
5-1.
DuPont again off to a really good start here in the second. This is the DuPont that we saw out on the table at the beginning of the match. He's attacking, he's playing with confidence.
Princeton was in third place entering the start of the weekend, 13 points behind Florida in the standings. Began today 4 points up on the Crocs.
Revolution.
Had in a strong start.
Three, 6.
And again, Prushepa just pushing back a couple of points here.
7, 3.
Just trying to get in with those forehand flips as well.
Big alley from DuPont. He's up 8-3. He had a 7-1 lead in game 1 and lost 11-9. He's got an 8-3 lead in game 2. And it looks like DuPont has refocused and honed his game here to try and even this matchup 1 game apiece. 10-3 now.
3, 10.
Prushepa felt something off with the ball. So a few balls this morning that have not been approved by the players in the moment. It's the end of game 2.
3, second
I know
game.
at one point during the match last month, the tournament referee actually stepped in and told the players, if you have a problem with the ball, you have to show the umpire first. You can't just hit the ball away. Usually the teams collectively pick 20 balls between them, I think 10 each. And that's before the match happens. So as a team, they've already chosen these match balls.
What does that 11-3 win say about Bastien DuPont, his ability to bounce back?
I think really it's about being able to finish. I mean, he had a phenomenal start in the first game. So, you know, that's got to give him at least the confidence to know that if he attacks and if he plays the right way, that he can have a comfortable lead. So, you know, it was a good good collection of himself to come back out onto the table and to refocus and to remind himself of the difference between being assertive and being passive.
Right now it's determining who is the champion of this match. Game number 3, it's been gritty. The decider with Yevgen Prushepa.
Can I go back to what I asked you before the timeout in game 1?
Yeah, what was it again?
When you have a player
Third
who's,
game,
you know,
Gold Rush serve.
6'3",
Oh, yeah.
versus a player that's 5'9", 5'10", how does the difference in size and reach impact things?
0-0.
What are the things that you think about in that regard?
Yeah, so generally a player that's taller will have better reach, and they tend to play better off both wings if the ball's going like wide. So, you know, Prushepa going from his backhand side to his forehand side, transition pretty good, but a taller player can be weaker in the body because they have a wider stance on the table. So it's harder to make those adjustments in the middle of the table. So there are definitely some tactical things that come into play when you're playing against someone who's taller or someone who's significantly shorter. I mean, DuPont's fairly normal height, I would say. So.
Let's. One, two.
DuPont's gotten off to a good start in all 3 games.
I mean, he's going for his shots. That's important. Actually, again, Coach Yang said to him yesterday, it doesn't matter whether he wins or loses the points. He would rather him take the shots and have a chance of winning them than to play passively where he's likely to lose them anyway.
3-2.
In case you're wondering, the yellow tips of Bastien Dupont's glasses are not that way because they are Gold Rush colors. That is a coincidence. Przeppa turns it around and ties it up 3-all.
Did you ask him this?
I did. Back in September, I asked him. Because they look like they're Carolina Gold Rush glasses, don't they? Specially branded.
I honestly hadn't noticed until you brought it up, so thanks for that.
But now that I brought it up, you can't unsee it.
I'll have a go at it.
Let's.
Przeppa coming in with the backhand serve and the backhand follow-up.
Why would he choose to use the backhand serve there?
Sometimes serving backhand
3-5,
helps you
Gold Rush.
capture different angles, or obviously you get the opposite spin direction. And of course, you also get to sometimes take up a different position on the table. Usually helps for players focusing more on backhand opening because they're already in the table rather than being off the corner.
It's a humid morning, apparently, here in Florida. It's, what, 4 balls and 6 games we've seen thrown away?
7-3. The net, but he's picking up some momentum here in the third. Yeah, so you can see there the backhand serve. Przeppa's already in position, waiting for the backhand attack.
We are about to enter a similar predicament to yesterday, where Yevgen Przeppa has to get ready to play doubles, but he also wants his victory walk-off interview with the great Matt Hetherington.
3-9.
I don't know if it's with me.
Just the opportunity to be grilled after a victorious moment, to bask in that triumph. I understand it.
3-10.
Service error takes Przeppa to the brink. Dupont had a 2-0 lead in this game. He had a 7-1 lead in game 1. And Yevgen Przeppa is still going to walk away from this,
10-4.
barring a crazy 8-0 rally with 2 out of 3 for the Revolution.
Very strange rhythm in this match, that's for sure.
Dupont says, not yet, my friend. Come on, those glasses look like they were made to match that jersey. That ball helps him out.
Almost saving the net. He had time for it.
We've seen some crazy twists and turns in this match, so if there was going to be an 8-0 run down 10-3, maybe this is the match. No, not going to happen. Przeppa able to get 2 out of 3 from Dupont. Some crazy comebacks in that match, and Princeton has a 4-2 lead on the team tally as we head toward the doubles.
4.22. That's pretty crazy.
Yevgen Przeppa now 4-2 in singles on the weekend, and Princeton leads 4-2 where it counts. We are going to get a quick word with Yevgen Przeppa. We know you got doubles to play, Yevgen, so we'll keep it quick. You were down in game 1, you were down in game 3, and yet you somehow rallied to win 2 out of 3. What was the key to finishing off that match?
Was I down in game 3? I was.
You were down 2. You were down 2-0.
Ah, okay. Okay,
That's
not
not
so
down
much.
and out.
Okay, his serve. Actually, I don't know. Maybe of jet lag. Sometimes I just lose my focus. I don't know why. Few balls I just don't remember. But after when I focus, I had no troubles in my game.
What do you remember about playing Bastion back in September that helped you today?
Nothing. My feeling are completely different now. I'm top shape. I feel good now. So no problem against his game for me.
I think the main thing from him, I mean, when he came out onto the table in the beginning, he was quite aggressive. So how did you turn that around? I know you were trying to flip some more of the serves to try and get in first.
But he provoked me to flip. He served up spin, south spin, little bit long spin. I waited, so I was ready.
Last thing, you're about to play the best doubles team in the league. What's going through your mind?
I don't know. It's always difficult to play against left hand and also pen hold pimples. It's a difficult game, but we will try our best.
Go give him heck. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's see how Yevgen does playing alongside Angela, the resident chopper in the East Division for the Revolution, against this unbelievable doubles team. Carolina in doubles this year, Matt, now sits at 43-11 in games. That is far and away the best record in the league. That's 32 games above the 500 mark. And I know Princeton's going to have its handful. You see just the top two now in this division. That was coming into today. So at this exact moment, Princeton now with 201, Carolina's 257. You know, this could be the matchup that we see on Championship Sunday on April 28th in Chicago. You know, knowing what the East did against the West, and obviously it's going to be a refreshed competition when the East and West square off at the championship event. If you can get just a point off this Carolina doubles team, historically, that's a good sign for you, because they don't give that many points away. Oh,
clips the back edge. Definitely challenging for Angela being the defensive player in this matchup.
We saw Angela be more aggressive the past couple days.
She was, and I think she'll have to continue that. I mean, Hong being short pips pen hold, that has some advantages against defense, and obviously Enzo's forehand game is pretty strong as well.
Fair to say the ideal doubles team is one righty and one lefty?
Generally speaking, yeah, because you have two forehands across the whole middle of the table.
Would you ideally want to have two players of the same grip in doubles, or does that variation also provide an advantage?
I don't know if it provides a specific advantage. I think there are certain advantages that can come out of it if a team plays together well. I mean, you know, every different type of rubber or different grip has strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
So.
Nice job by Angela Guan, recognizing the opportunity was there, and she barges through the door. Good finish. Like what we're seeing right now from Prashepa and Guan.
Yeah, I think Hong is going to need to be a little bit careful with the drops. She has good control, but she's giving Prashepa a lot of chances to attack. It's putting a lot of pressure on Enzo.
There's some more aggressive shot that you're looking for.
I mean, short pips pen hold, if you have the confidence to attack against chop, you can really put your foot down and make a statement.
Five, six.
Angela coming in with a forehand loop this time. Again, Hong utilizing that strength of being able to stay close to the table. Usually once one of them attacks, things kind of double down. Prashapa, perfect placement.
Guan did a nice job of handling that early attack from Enzo.
Yeah, again, just utilizing something as simple as a forehand block. It doesn't have to be aggressive, but it's something different.
Using Enzo's pace to help her out.
8,
Andres and Limbo back up one at 8-7.
And that is a wide angle there.
Enzo flailing toward the barrier.
We saw DeSanton go over in that spot, exact same spot on day one.
8 apiece. Guan serves.
nine, 8.
So being a little bit more direct there in the communication.
8, 10.
Opportunity for Princeton here to take a 5-2 lead.
This time Hong
9,
stepping
10.
up the offense. She needs to make those plays.
And all here in this opening game in doubles.
Alrighty, you know what it is. Say it with me. Golden point.
Second golden point of the day. Our 9th of the weekend. Angles lost golden point to Jishan at the end of their singles match. But he wins the golden point here to start doubles.
Big celebration from Enzo off the back of an excellent forehand down the line.
Princeton had opportunities, but Carolina closes on a 3-0 run, punctuated by that forehand winner from the league's #1.
So chops, we're all quite familiar now with the chops. You saw Angela Guan sending this ball back, floating like a frisbee across the net. That ball has so much backspin. This is for the whole family here. This is for even Dad Josh. This is for everyone. Okay, it was Aiden, and refresh my memory one more time. go like this to attack it. Get really low and lift like that just to keep it out of the net.
Time.
Constantly changing spin. Keep your eyes on Angela Guan and her shots. 4-3, Princeton Revolution leads.
So Angles and Lin find a way.
This is game number 2.
I'll be honest, man, I thought Prushepa and Guan, I don't want to say played as good a game as they can play, but it was certainly a very competitive game. It never felt like they were overmatched at any point in that game, and yet they still come up short. We'll see how they respond.
Yeah, I think this order is going to be a little more favorable for them.
For Princeton?
Or Carolina.
Carolina.
Yeah. We're going to have Hong playing to Angela, so typically when Hong made her drop shots, Prushepa was able to loop the next ball, but against Angela, we're probably going to see a little bit more defensive play against the drop.
1-1.
Could hear Enzo giving some positive reinforcement to that attack from Hong. Yeah, you can see there, it's a good example of what's going to happen if Hong drops the ball to Angela. She's going to come in and play defensively, and Enzo will have the chance to attack first off that.
Oh, a blistering backhand from Prushepa.
Good night, Vienna.
You've been to Vienna, right?
Yeah, how ironic. We were just talking about this yesterday. I have.
Nice place?
Yeah, lovely. If you're into architecture, it's kind of classical European architecture. It's a nice place. A lot of those centers around Europe are, you know, Budapest as well. Prague.
Heard great things about both Prague and Budapest. If you could choose one city in Europe for MLTT to have its European showcase, and you're choosing it solely from a Matt Hetherington tourism standpoint, what city would you choose?
From a tourism standpoint.
It's the place you want to go for a weekend. Pick one city in Europe.
Somewhere where, well, I'd like to go to Lisbon ideally, so Portugal.
Heard good things.
Yeah, that'd be nice. From a event standpoint, I think it's hard to go past somewhere like Düsseldorf. They would draw, I think, a pretty big crowd if there was an MLTT event there. So
6-3.
You can start campaigning to Flint to have the season opener in Düsseldorf in 2025.
Have the season final there, I think would be great.
Revolution.
Yeah, typically when they have the Champions League finals there, they're now filling out stadiums with 5,000 to 7,000 people. It's pretty impressive.
Are you surprised that, look, we have a lot of French players, we have players from all throughout, there are no Germans in the inaugural season of MLTT?
No, it's not surprising. And the reason why it's not surprising is because the majority of the German players will play in the German Bundesliga.
Right.
And the German league only offers exclusive contracts. So if you're playing in the German league, you actually can't play in other leagues. And there were a couple of top players actually last season who got fined for playing other leagues at the same time. So yeah, typically you get more players from the French league in particular. Also some of the smaller leagues like Italy and Spain. I know Damien Provost is playing in quite a number of different leagues. But yeah, the German league contracts are German league only, unfortunately.
I guess we do have one German in the league. That's the coach of the Texas Smash, George Bitzigayo. I was talking about players. 8-6 lead here for Angles and Lin in game 2.
6-9.
And now the Gold Rush within 2 points of a 2-0 lead.
Then 6.
Less than a third of all singles and doubles matches this year, Matt, have been sweeps. 32.5% of the singles and doubles matches have been 3-0 sweeps, but more often than not,
11-6,
the same team,
second game,
the same
Gold
player wins the opening 2 games. It's about 53% of the time that one team gets the opening 2 games.
Carolina Gold Rush doing what
East
they do.
Division
and
teams
rushing
have
the
struggled to close out
scoreboard
3-0 sweeps at times, but Enzo and Hong doing what they do. And we are tied 4-4 overall on the team tally.
Where did you get it though? Like, what store did you get the natural stuff that you're wearing?
So
Oh,
Princeton's
genetics. It's amazing.
early
All right,
lead
we're on
generated through
the
singles
double.
success
Game
has
number 3, they'll
disappeared.
switch when one team gets 5
This is what we've
points.
seen a lot
Order
from
of play
Carolina
and
this year,
size
Matt.
of the
Even if
table.
they
Lots to
struggle
talk
early on in
about.
singles,
Game
struggles
number
putting
3
it mildly.
tied
They
up at
lost
4-all.
2-1 in each match in the singles so far, but this doubles team, Enzo Angles and Hong Lin, continues to produce results.
0-1.
Enzo and Hong playing together this weekend are 7-1, playing together for the season. They are 43-10 in games. They've left a lot of teams exasperated over the course of the year.
And so with the chop block, well controlled by Angela Guan. Definitely a
1-3.
better order to start out the third game for the Revolution. But Hong started to control the length of those drops better.
All right, Flint just messaged me and said Dusseldorf sounds good, but he may want an Asian destination as well.
Okay.
And he wants your choice. If you could select one city
This
in
is for
all
the
of
big event.
Asia for an MLTT weekend. And this is solely through the lens of Matt Hetherington, where you want to go, where you want to be for a table tennis weekend. What destination would you choose?
Tokyo.
4-2.
Why?
I've never been there before. It looks like just the best place. It's been very high on my list for a while. I'd love to go to Japan.
You could go stay with Koyo, sure.
Well, he's going to be in California after this anyway. Yeah. All right.
5-2.
So let's lock that in. We'll have MLTT Düsseldorf, MLTT Tokyo. Perfect.
Where are we going in Africa?
Ooh, maybe Cairo.
Sounds good.
Some great table tennis players in Egypt.
I'm in.
Lachine would feel right at home.
The International Tour, MLTT, as planned by Matt Hetherington.
Yeah, and you know we're going to Auckland. We're definitely not going to Australia for Oceania. We're going to New Zealand. There will be no debate about that.
Yeah, I learned last night that there's a little friction between the Kiwis and the Aussies, at least through your eyes.
It's a friendly thing. Wow, Angela Guan, 2 excellent forehand blocks in the middle of that rally. And it ends with Prashepa just floating the ball out to Hong. So 6-4 for the Carolina Gold Rush duo.
Princeton back within 1 at 6-5.
Definitely closing the gap here.
When I said that East Division teams against other East Division teams have had trouble closing out 3-0 sweeps, I got the numbers to back it up. Now when a West Division player is facing a West Division player, talking singles or doubles, and they're up 2-0, they sweep 69% of the time. 43 and 19 in game 3. East Division players up 2-0 against other East Division players. 38 and 37. Basically 50-50.
Sean's put in a vote for Stockholm for Europe.
He knows all the good spots in Stockholm.
Oh yeah. If he wasn't American, he'd probably be Swedish.
Angles for the big cut into the net to give Princeton the lead. What does that mean? If he wasn't American, he'd probably be Swedish.
He played in Sweden a lot when he was playing. He's very
Carolina Gold
kind
Rush called the timeout here.
in table tennis career terms, his second home almost.
Timeout Carolina.
Come. Yeah,
Last shot from Angela Guan.
No, she gives much lower.
I have to play more in the middle.
Yeah, more in the middle. Yes.他有点松。
对，六边女生上去冲了，他勾了一个。
没事。We have time. 现在谁发球
Your service? Same than before.
不是我发，
A little bit more long.
他接。
Maybe it's too short, it's not so good.
Angela.
Has 3 timeouts total.
All right, let's go.
Let's quickly look ahead, Matt. DeSantalon versus John.
Of the third game. Whoever
Who do you think has the edge going into that
It is 4-all in games.
Quickly.
I feel like Kai would have a good edge against defense.
Okay.
So initially I'd say Kai a small margin, but
2-1.
I don't know about the actual outcome of the match.
What about Wong versus Lawrence?
That's a pretty even split. It's going to be close. It's going to be really close.
Which is to
Down
say,
to the wire.
we're tied 4-4 right now. Whoever wins this game might end up leading going into the Golden Game.
Possible, yeah.
And we know how important that is, especially in 2024, where the teams leading going into the Golden Game have won better than 93% of the time in the Golden.
And Enzo stepping it up against the chop from Angela Guan. Taking no prisoners with that forehand. And this time, Guan Plays topspin. She's had great success mixing things up here in this doubles.
Apparently some of our viewers have put some choices of world destinations that they'd like to go in the comments as well.
Oh.
Both for South Korea, Tokyo, Indonesia,
8,
Brazil.
9.
Indonesia and Brazil are not cities, but neither is South Korea for that matter, but we understand the point. Seoul, Rio, Jakarta. This is basically a big game of where in the world is Carmen Sandiego right now.
This is basically YouTube viewers saying bring MLTT to our front doorstep so that we can watch it in person.
Funny, I was just trying to campaign to get an event in North Carolina.
I feel like
Frankly,
logistically
we could have it in my backyard. It would be a logistical struggle in a variety of ways, and I don't know if my wife would approve, but beyond that, I'm ready to host. Game point, and it catches the edge, and that's how it ends. Prashepa and Guan did a lot of good things in that match, Matt, but ultimately it's all for naught as the doubles duo of Angles and Lin steamrolls to a 3-0 sweep yet again, 11-10, 11-6, and 11-8. And for the first time today, the Carolina Gold Rush have the outright lead, 5-4.
I love the little interactions that even the Carolina players have with the Princeton owners as well.
Anything? No? Okay.
We're going to have the chance to talk to Hong.
Hong Lin, congratulations on a 3-0 sweep. Some very close games, but you and Enzo prevail. What were you most pleased about from that match?
Match before, I just think it's a difficult game. Yeah, because Angela and Pashov is good player. Yeah, yeah, they play with each other is very good. Yeah, me and Enzo just I think just try my best. Yeah, try our best. It's not another thinking or something. Yeah, just go. Let's go.
And how was it for you in the first match, sitting on the bench watching Jishan and Enzo play against each other?
Our first match?
Yeah, how did you feel sitting on the bench to watch that match? Were you nervous?
I'm so, you know, just like I'm feeling is I want when Enzo, I want Jishan win, I want Enzo win, you know.
Tough call, isn't it?
You win either way.
Yeah,
you win either way. If Enzo wins, you win. If Jishan wins, you win too, in a different way.
She wants both to win.
Yeah. I difficult choice. Sorry.
I've been asked to inquire if you and Jishan have any special Valentine's Day plans with Valentine's Day just a few days away. I know he's headed to South Korea pretty soon for the championships.
Yeah.
And any plans before then or afterwards?
No.
Just no.
Just no. Yeah.
Well, we are direct people here in Major League Table Tennis. Hong Lin, congratulations on another 3-0 sweep. We'll see you in the Golden Game.
Thank you.
I respect that. Valentine's Day is a commercial creation. We live every day to appreciate the moment. And this is going to be a fun moment here. Kai Jong versus Matthew de Santalon. Are the pieces in place for one of the more entertaining matches of the weekend here?
Yeah. Have we ever seen a match from de Santalon that hasn't been entertaining?
Sir, 0-0.
Yes, Jung Kai has a pretty powerful forehand game, especially against defense. So we'll see if he takes any notes out of the Daniel Gonzalez playbook. What a drop. Straight off the bounce.
It's just the variety of shots you've seen in 2 points tells you this is going to be exciting.
1,
You can see Kai's really going for broke on the first ball into the rally. Wants to get that early pressure on.
Do you think this match is more about Kai Jong, and can he make a pretty high percentage of his big forehand attacks?
That's going to be a really important factor. I can tell you one thing: there are not many players here who want to get stuck in long rallies with the Santalan, because physically it's exhausting, mentally it's exhausting. I think like one of the difficult psychological things about playing a chopper is you can play a 20, 30 shot rally to win a point, and then you might lose the next point really early. So it's an internal battle. One of those longer points.
Yeah, Kai Chong doing a nice job changing the tempo of the point. Going big and then going small and short. Forcing the Santalan to get his steps in.
Yeah, it's very important when you're playing a defender to mix in those drops. You got to move them left and right, but also focus on moving them back away from the table and moving them back in.
By the way, I mentioned Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego before. Do you know that reference? Are you familiar with that show?
Was it a show? I always remember it being like a book, or was it a book?
It was a video game or a computer game too. But yeah, it was a show. It was a show when I was growing up in the United States.
I remember the reference, yeah.
With a great theme song. I will spare you right now, but
please do.
4, 5.
that was cool.
That's the kind of balance I'm bringing to the commentary booth.
The Santalan in front 6-4.
6, 4.
I think one of the things that stands out here is that as the longer rallies have started to play out, and it's been more difficult for Kai to win those points in the longer rallies, there's more pressure on him to try and finish the rally quicker, which means he has to play those bigger shots. The Santalan playing, as always, a very intelligent game out there.
What would you encourage folks to focus on when they watch the Santalan? Is it the footwork? Is it the way he twiddles the paddle?
Definitely the racket twiddling is a pretty important factor. It can be hard to pick up on, but it's a very difficult skill to master and to get the timing right. I mean, he's switching between a smooth inverted side. I mean, look, even when he's waiting for serve return, he's twiddling it around.
8, 6.
A 9-6 lead for the Santalan here in game 1. This is the first meeting of the season in singles between these two.
The drop from Kai can be pretty hard to control when there's heavy spin on the ball.
John with a couple serves here, down by 2.
Doesn't quite get his foot down.
Some big reactions from Santalan after he wins these points. Understands the significance. Plays with great desire.
Then 8.
Really working the table out there in some of these points.
How aggressive does Kai Jong want to be with these returns?
I think steady. If the ball's going long, he needs to avoid pushing.
That's game.
Too much.
11-8, first game.
11-8 in game one for Matthew de Santalan. We are tied 5-5 between the top two teams in the league.
Put in a frame at home. We'll see what we can work out. You'll have a chance to talk to the players between matches. Probably wait till it's over. Always better to talk to the winners. They're in better moods. But someone smiles at you, gives you a wink from the losing team. That is the signal that it's all good. You never know. Anyone have any questions? Anything you're curious about? Why Joshua stopped anything or closing for a Titanic like anything in the corner of the users? Yeah. Like one of your friends drove? That's what we do.
Time.
Awesome, that's cool. It's an interesting story. Let's post it. Medium interesting. All right.
MLTT.com/shop to snag your MLTT merch. T-shirts, sweatshirts, and oh so much more. De Santalan serves to start game two. Matt Hetherington, Princeton's got 5, Carolina's got 5, and we got 5 games left before the Golden Game. The team that has led going into the Golden Game has won the Golden Game 15 times in a row, dating back to early January now. What was the key for de Santalan in game one to get that 11-8 win?
Basically using whatever variations he can to lengthen the rally. So just getting back from the table and dragging things out as much as possible.
Great footwork from de Santalan. Back and forth to take a 3-1 lead.
I think I would probably say any rally that goes more than 7 or 8 shots, de Santalan's big favorite.
There's a short rally that he steals too. Do you call it a rally if it's just 2 shots? I think you do.
I suppose.
2 quick points on his serve, and he's got a 5-1 lead here in game 2. Carolina does not have a timeout. He's won in the first singles match and the doubles match.
Two, 5.
So it's up to Kai Jong to figure it out himself here. Kai Jong had a sensational start to the weekend, playing on Friday against Dan Liu. A 3-0 sweep. 3 close games, but Jong had the goods in all 3. That's 3 straight for Jong after falling behind 5-1 here in game 2.
Timeout. Revolution.
And we're going to get a timeout for Princeton. Talking about how Carolina has no timeouts. This will be the final timeout for the Revolution before the Golden Game.
Matthias Havasson.
Let's listen in.
How are things going for you?
Just get your attention back.
Anything you're curious about right now?
Just refuel a little bit, get your attention back. All the rest, tactics and stuff is perfect.
That's a good question.
Keep this.
The answer is?
Just get a little bit more
yes.
In position.
The answer is yes. Any other believers in the crowd? The Crocs, what's the answer? The Crocs gonna win? Yes? It appears that the answer is yes, Robert. I guess we'll have to wait and find out. Won't be too long, but in the meantime, it is 5-all between Princeton Revolution and Carolina Gold Rush. And 5-4 in this individual game.
From the Princeton Revolution.
4-6.
Just a reminder from Matthias Harbison. Everything's there, the tactics are there, the gameplay's there, just to get a bit more tension back and refocus.
4-7.
I mean, their timeouts called for all different reasons. Sometimes it's we need to make this adjustment.
Sometimes.
Other times it's just take a deep breath.
Yeah, sometimes as a coach you can literally call a timeout, give them their water bottle and just stand there and let them breathe and, you know, go through things in their own head as well.
You look thirsty,
7-5.
so we're just gonna
hydrate,
enjoy this peace and quiet. 7-5 lead for DeSantalon. I'm sure there are times you just want to hand me a water bottle and tell me to shut up. Silence speaks volumes.
I was trying to decide whether I'd give you the water.
This hit by Jong is an example of just DeSantalon, the more comfortable player in the longer rally.
Yeah.
Called the timeout at 5-4, so he scored 4 of the last 5 since the timeout. Five of the last 6.
5-10.
And that sets up game points for the Frenchman. 11-5. And DeSantalon has the 2-0 lead.
So game number 2,
Just like that, Princeton leapfrogs back over Carolina again. And it's 6-5 for the Revolution. DeSantalon will go for the sweep in just a moment.
Take the hula hoop and throw it down the aisle and they would come back. This is spinning ridiculously fast compared to that hula hoop. Remember, 2 very different sides on his racket. If you look at Matthew DeSantalon's racket before the point, he's twiddling it. He's spinning it in his hand. And he does this in the middle of a point, too. He has to keep track of which side of the racket is aggressive and which side is defensive. He's one of 2 choppers on Princeton Revolution. You saw Angela Guan earlier attack with her defensive rubber sometimes. That means there's almost no spin on it. So the ball knuckles at you, and you have to lift, and the timing is very different. For Matthew DeSantalon, he'll twiddle when he needs to generate his own spin, pushing defensively, or when he wants to attack.
Man, I'm realizing I just used the term leapfrogs.
So quickly.
Princeton was down 5-4, now they're up 6-5. Are you familiar with leapfrog?
Third game, Gold Rush 0-0.
In what sense of
the childhood game, leapfrog.
Oh, where you like frog over people?
Yeah. Do they do that down under?
Yeah, I suppose. Down under.
I know Australia's down under, but New Zealand's got to be considered down under as well, right?
Yeah.
One.
What would your advice be to Kai Jong here in game 3? Without mentioning that you need the fantasy points desperately.
Oh, okay, we're doing that.
2-1.
Well, I mean, maybe you'd say that to motivate him. That would be your advice. But
he knows that he's
from a
on my
tactical
fantasy league.
perspective, well, maybe you put too much pressure on him.
Well, clearly I did. Yeah. I think it's about finding balance, of trying to get in with those stronger shots, but not rushing them straight at the beginning of the point. So, but also he needs to be prepared to play longer points, and I don't think he's been well equipped to do it. I think just in these situations he just ends up going for too much. It takes a lot of patience to play against a defensive player. kind of looks like I don't think he knows what the answers are. If you look at body language in particular.
He got off to a good start in game one. Hit some good forehands, but you're right. DeSantalon kind of started, grinding him down, and he hasn't been able to respond to that.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the strategy for a defender, because when you're playing against someone who's backed off the table and they're not attacking as much, you end up losing points mainly through your own errors. And when the errors start creeping up, and it can have a pretty big impact mentally. And you can see DeSantalon's quite content to just hang back off the table and return the ball, sometimes with a little hook, sometimes with a little topspin. Just all of these little things designed to throw your opponent off.
Wong and Lorenz still to come. There's just some indecisiveness right now from Kai Jong. There were opportunities for him to take some bigger swings earlier in that rally. He refrained, and then when he went for it, it was a miss. And another error off the paddle of Jong. Certainly give DeSantalon credit for creating the error. DeSantalon spinning the ball the way he does. Most errors are not unforced, which is to say that DeSantalon's tactics and style create errors from his opponent.
Jung just ends up tightening up too much. DeSantalon going for broke on that backhand. Goes on the attack again. Interesting decision making at this stage of the third game. And Kai tries to clap one back.
We've seen Kai Jong hit winners with that exact swing so many times, but against DeSantalon, it's just different. Game points, try to complete the sweep here. DeSantalon looks to make it 7-5 ahead of Wong and Lorenz. Now 10-8. One more trip to the towel for Matthew. Got the serve. And that will finish it.
11-8.
11-8. DeSantalon finishes off the sweep. Impressive stuff from the defender from France.
We watch and think to
And
ourselves,
it's Princeton
how on
leading
earth
7-5 with one more singles match still to come.
against a player who gets everything back. And if you leave it up high, it comes into attack. The chopping style. I think it is aggressive and to be protected. And players like Matthew DeSantalon will inspire.
We are joined now by Matthew DeSantalon. Matthew, we were excited to see this match. Obviously, you played well. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What was it like going against Kai, who's clearly got some firepower from both wings? How did you flummox him and take him out of his game?
In my tactic, it was to make a lot of variation because if I stay at beginning only the same quality, it can go very strong. And I make some variation, it starts some mistake, and after you have some doubts, and it was more slowly, and I have opportunity to attack. So all the game, it was okay. One time no spin, one time spin. I tried to win like this.
And did you feel gradually more and more confident, particularly when the rallies went on for longer? Did you feel it gave you a better chance to win against him?
Yeah, because on the first ball he can kill me, so sometimes it was hard on the first ball. But when I'm on my line for the table and it's okay for me, I can put the ball on the table. So it was better to find solution to launch the game, not so fast, and after I can play better.
Aside from playing table tennis, what are the things that you do to train, to prepare your body for all the movement that you do over the course of a match?
I have personal physical trainer, so with him I work a lot of, and I make a lot of stretching, something like this to try to be flexible. I'm not, but I try. So yes, I try to run a little bit too. So yes, there's a lot of things I have to do to be performant at the table.
Is it harder to go from front to back than it is from side to side when he's hitting the drop shots, forcing you to come in?
That depends. If I know I've put very good defense with good quality, I can come back early because he can't go strong. But when my shot is a little high and he can attack or push, on this one it's more hard.
Interesting. Appreciate the perspective. Well done. We'll see you in the Golden Game.
Thank you.
I almost wanted to thank him for the fantasy points, but I
bet you did.
You know, didn't think it was appropriate.
Well held.
You think this is going to be close? Number 25 versus number 24 in the power rankings?
Yeah, and irrespective of power rankings, the style matchup is pretty, I guess, more similar.
How would you characterize their styles?
I think they're both kind of spin control players. I would say Jinshin has a little bit more advantage on the backhand side. Roman obviously on the forehand side, when he gets aggressive, doesn't hit beaming winners, but he can hit some really good angles and finish points off. I think both players have had a pretty good weekend so far. I mean, I would say Roman was the star of the show last night.
Can also be way less. Most people switching every few weeks at the professional level. And I'll tell you more about that.
Yeah, Roman lost 2 out of 3 to Sasha Henin here on Friday, but my did he respond, dominating Mark Duran 3 straight games. And he played well in the Golden Game too.
0-1.
Yesterday, Roman came to the table in the 4th singles spot with a 7-5 lead. He extended that lead to 10-5, and that put Carolina in a really good position. Frankly, they turned out they needed that 5-point lead because Florida came back and the final score was 21-18. Those first 5 points that they won over the course of regulation were the difference. A little bit different today, though. He comes to the table knowing that he needs a 3-0 sweep to give his team the lead heading into the Golden Game. Anything else, and Carolina will be playing from behind.
Let's.
Backhand control from Wang Jinshin is going to be an important factor in this match. He can keep Roman off the forehand. Will certainly help him a lot, but so far Roman off to a strong start here in the first of these 3 games. Big forehand flick down the line from Wang. That's where his height advantage really comes into play for him. His forehand flicks over the table. A lot of the time they're outright winners.
Now, Carolina has not trailed going into a Golden game since the interdivisional weekend in December, when Texas had a 9-6 lead on the Gold Rush going into the Golden game. Carolina came back to win the Golden game
4-4
and won the match. I mean, they're 15-3, 18 matches, so obviously they've won a ton. We have seen Carolina come from behind to win the Golden game
5-4
on 2 different occasions. One was against Texas, the other time was, of course, against Princeton that we talked about earlier when they were down 5-0. Good stuff from Jinshin Wang.
4-6
There's just a matter-of-fact nature about the way Jinshin Wang hits a winner and then strolls around like he knew he was going to do it. No big deal.
Let
Still got one more team match to come today. The Florida Crocs and the Chicago Wind.
Well
6-5
recovered by Wang, but Wang just wrapped that ball out wider to the forehand.
Six all now here in game 1. There's a good bit of familiarity between these two. This is the 4th singles match they've played. Roman Lorenz has a 3-0 sweep over Jinshin Wang, but in the other 2 matches, Jinshin won 2-1.
Seven, 6
Of course, there are no timeouts remaining for either team, so
the sweep was back in September, so the last 2 matches Wang has won.
I'm sure he'll be looking for a third, knowing how valuable that would be for the Princeton Revolution right now.
Be massive. (9-6) lead now for Wang.
6-9
Little clip of the net there and an apology from Wang. I think the big play from Jinshin here is getting Roman out wide onto the forehand and then bringing him back across. It's a lot of ground to cover just with the forehand.
Great return with the backhand, the missile. 4 straight points from Jinshin Wang on the verge of taking game 1. Lorenz able to fight off the first game point there.
Net save and a decisive backhand to regain control, and it gives Wang Jinshin the first game.
And more importantly, it guarantees Princeton will have a lead going into the Golden game. Unfamiliar position for Carolina. First time this has been the case in 2024. See how the Gold Rush handle it.
And you've been here every day this weekend. Are you guys partial owners in the league?
To dig even deeper, the Carolina Gold Rush have held a 10-5 lead going into the Golden Game in each of their last 4 team matches. That's not the case today. They trail 8-5, and it's up to Roman Lorenz to try to minimize the deficit. The Gold Rush will try to become just the second team in 2024 to come from behind and win in the Golden Game.
One, 0.
Obviously a huge difference if they're down 1-0 at the start or 5-0 at the start in the race to 21.
I think it's kind of become apparent throughout the last 2 or 3 rounds of the East Division that whatever happens in the individual matches, it kind of seems that whenever the Princeton Revolution get on the table, every Golden Game has just been an absolute death match. I don't think today is going to be any different.
Why do you think that is? I mean, I have a theory, but I'm curious to get your thoughts.
They're just determined to win for a start. And I don't know, they just seem to have a lot of close encounters that really go down to the wire.
Can I give you my take?
Of course.
I think that Princeton is the most balanced team in the league. And by that I mean their CD players, which this weekend are Preshepa, DeSantalan, and Koyo Kanemitsu. It would not be out of place to see them in the AB matchup for any of them.
Yep, I agree.
And because of that, that gives Matthias Habasson more options to mix and match because he knows that his quote-unquote lower-tier players are not going to be overmatched by whoever they go against.
That's true, but you would think that having that balance would give them a greater advantage in the Golden Game. I feel like a lot of their Golden Games really go down to the last point, so they're perhaps more evenly matched than their team player lineup would indicate might be the case. I did particularly enjoy yesterday when they won the Golden Game, seeing owner Andre Liu just gently pick up the barrier and place it down and uncrease the top.
4-5.
Slightly ironic celebration compared to his usual barrier throwing. Jinshen's been in control so far in this match.
Hey. 7-4.
Yes, he has.
Let.
Yeah, if Jinshin can close out this game, that would mean that Princeton has prevailed in all 4 singles matchups.
Oh, look at that forehand counter. Got a nice curl on that ball as well to get it to the corner.
Enzo and Hong dominated the doubles mat, but in the singles matchups, Princeton has an 8-2 edge.
I mean, if you look at the standings, their singles record is pretty formidable. Jinshin with a little soft little face slap there after missing that lob. Definitely doesn't want to get caught back from the table too often.
5-8.
Lawrence trying to fire himself up. Trying to find a way to sneak back into this second game. Trying to skip to his step after that point. Now receiving here, trailing by 2. Wong missed it. It's a 1-point game.
Big risk. He really went for a big forehand on that one.
No one have timeout anymore.
Roman
8-7.
looking for a timeout there, but the Carolina Gold Rush don't have one, and
I don't know
Jin
if-
Shin was quick to.
Why would he be looking for a timeout? He just won the last 3 points. I thought maybe Princeton might have been calling a timeout, but they don't have one either.
9.
Anyway, 9-7 for Wong after that nice forehand down the line. Two serves here for Lawrence.
Comes in with the forehand flick. Doesn't get the counter off the next ball. 4 game points, I should say, for Jin Shin.
They take a 9-5 lead on the team tally.
It's the first, nice and steady on the backhand. Wang Jin Shin goes up 2-0.
Well, Jin Shin Wong lost 3-0 to Lawrence back in September, but he's had Roman's number ever since. And he goes for the sweep to try to give Princeton a 5-point lead, the maximum heading into the Golden Game, in just a moment.
In the Golden Game against the most dominant team. They're second place as of yesterday. Today, they are the number 2 team. They went from 4 to 2 in what feels like a blink of an eye. And if they win this year, this could get very interesting. The professor is up 2-0 over a player who was unstoppable this weekend. And this is the crazy thing about levels. There are so many levels. But it's not just levels, it's rock, paper, scissors, style matchup. One player might have a lower rating.
Jin Shin Wong has delivered for the Princeton Revolution, playing in this 4th singles spot. Back-to-back 11-7 victories over Roman Lawrence, and now to game 3. We shall see if Wong can complete the sweep or if Roman can salvage a point.
What a start.
1-0.
Wong just launching himself as soon as he saw that opportunity.
Service error from Wong ties the game at 1 apiece.
Not the follow-up he was looking for, that's for sure.
Nope. Mentioned it yesterday, Matt. Teams with a 3-0 lead entering the Golden Game have won 61% of the time. Teams with a 5-0 lead going into the Golden Game have won 92% of the time. So there's a big probability advantage here for Princeton. And Roman has to recognize that. Knows the value of this point for his team.
Wong just wiping out that forehand counter. Roman lets the ball drop a little bit too much sometimes on the step around.
How about that? Who does that better in the league than Jin Shin Wong?
I think maybe Cole is probably the only player that can really match that. And Wong again goes for that cross-court forehand flick winner.
I think you're spot on, because as I said it, I thought about Cole, but he might be the only one.
Hey, come on.
just looking really assertive and really confident out there.
Switch sides at 5-2 here in game 3.
Gold rush.
Wong has been steady and solid throughout this whole match. Right on
5-3.
cue to turn into the net. Washington State in a couple weeks, and then the East Division will wrap up their season in Jersey next month. The campus of Rider University will be in Lawrenceville, not too far from where Matt Hetherington used to live. Expect the groupies to be out in full force. You gave table tennis lessons when you lived in Jersey, right?
Yeah, I was there for 6 years.
Yeah, so a lot of your former students now want to come see you as a big television star.
Big television star is not really a phrase that I would use to describe.
It's because you're so humble.
That's also not true. No, it would be good to see a few of them. I think the turnover rate in table tennis is quite high. I mean, especially when you get to kind of mid-high school age, a lot of players stop playing because there is no professional pathway or career pathway. Obviously, in the absence of a professional league like this one.
Until now.
Until now.
You mentioned turnover rate. You got my mind churning about this evening's game. And I wonder if you're thinking that Brock Purdy's going to be okay on the big stage. What do you think?
I mean, you know that I don't know who that is before you've even asked me the question, so this is a setup. I'm being framed.
Yeah, but you still could go with it.
9.
I'll be on a plane on my way back to DC.
Do you know what Brock Purdy's nickname is related to his draft position? He's Mr. Irrelevant. That's the moniker that's given to the player selected last in the draft. But as we've seen in table tennis,
that is the most.
Some of the players selected last have been some of the most impactful for their teams.
That part makes sense to me. I think
it all ties together.
Oh yeah.
Roman trailing by 3 here, needs to make a move
9,
quick.
7.
Wong has 2 serves and he's 2 points away from completing the sweep and giving Princeton a 5-point lead heading into the Golden game. I'll just say this, turnover rate is going to be an important factor tonight.
Yeah.
In the Super Bowl.
I'm never using the term turnover rate again on air.
on Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah.
It's okay, we'll get into it a little bit more during the Florida-Princeton game. Will it be a 3rd straight 11-7? Yes, it will. Jin Wong sweeps Roman Lorenz. And the Princeton Revolution, after trailing 5-4 following the doubles, roll off 6 straight games in 3rd and 4th singles to create the maximum lead. Carolina's not out of it. 6 points still up for grabs in the Golden game. However, Princeton in an enviable position.
Winner takes all, meaning 6 points. Happy Lunar New Year in the Chinese.
An opportunity before we head into the Golden game to take a look back at the match that was. Probably one of the more outstanding results for the Princeton Revolution saw Jishan Liang taking 2 out of 3 against Enzo Angles. Reshepa clawed 2 games despite a some strong starts in both the first and second game from Bastien Dupont. The doubles was a welcome 3-0 sweep for the Carolina Gold Rush. If anything, kind of the lifeline. De Saint-Alain threw out as many variations as he possibly could, and it helped him take a sweep over Kai Zhang. Speaking of sweeps, Jinshin Wang got things finished up to give Princeton a 10-5 lead going into the Golden Game. They'll start with a maximum 5 points.
Here is Flint Lane, the
commish.
Thank you, Adam. Princeton Revolution is leading 10-5 over the Carolina Gold Rush. You'll be starting with a 5-point edge in the Golden Game to 21. Carolina, since you're trailing, you will pick your first player.
Dupont?
Bastien Dupont is your first player. Coach?
Yevgen Pushepa.
Yevgen Pushepa is your 1, your number 2.
Jishan Liang.
Jishan Liang is your number 2.
Kai Zhang?
Kai Zhang is your 2 and your 3.
Enzo.
Enzo Angles is your 3.
Mathieu de Saint-Alain.
Mathieu de Saint-Alain is your 3 and your 4.
Jinshin.
Jinshin Wang is your 4. Coach?
Romain.
Romain Lawrence is your 4, making Hong Lin your 5, making Angela Guan your 5. Good luck, coaches.
Princeton a 10-5 lead. We have been here before. Let's go back to October 15th in Myrtle Beach. Princeton started with a 5-0 lead. You see it was a 11-5, but Hong Lin helped to bring her team back into it, going against her husband's team. And Hong Lin with a golden sweep to close it out. One of just 2 times all season, Matt Hetherington, that a team has come back to win when trailing 5-0 at the start of the Golden Game. The Revolution certainly remember, and they exact some revenge today and punctuate their phenomenal weekend with a 16-5 win over the first place Gold Rush.
There are some somewhat risky lineups here in the Golden Game.
Risky for whom?
For the Revolution, I think.
Can you elaborate?
Dupont takes the first, serves back to Yevgen
Yes.
Pushepa. He's got 2 serves to come.
I think it's pretty interesting to put De Saint-Alain and Anglaise up against each other. That for me is...
Well, at that point, Matthias could have only chosen Jinshin to play Enzo instead. Would you have preferred that? Or Angela?
An incredible reach inside the table, but the counter one better as Bastien Dupont gets his second point.
A dangerous combination for the Revolution. But I suppose also a bit of a necessity for them.
So Dupont gets 2 for Carolina. Pushepa salvages the final point. Dupont disappointed he couldn't take all 3. Kai Zhang versus Jishan Liang. Jishan took 2 out of 3 from Enzo, becoming just the 3rd player all season to take a singles match from Anglaise. Kai Zhang struggled against De Saint-Alain.
At this point, Princeton need to focus on if they can at least get splits in every matchup.
That'll get them to the finish line if they can do that.
Tight serve gets a passive receive from the baseline, setting up the 3rd ball. Cobra Kai takes the point. Jishan Liang with his serves at 7-3. Perfect placement. The soft hands of Kai Zhang leaves the table as an obstruction.
2 of the first 3 here for Zhang. He's guaranteed a split. If he can take 3 out of 4, they'll bring Anglaise to the table with an opportunity. Put Carolina back on top, but it will be a 4-point difference as Jishan earns the split.
2 for 2. The Desaint-Allon show will
going to be
continue in the
a decisive
all-French
matchup
affair.
between both
Stopper
teams.
Matthew Desaint-Allon on receive and Enzo
Princeton
on
Revolution
lace
need
at
to
4-8 to serve.
keep their point buffer here.
Enzo Anglaise, an emphatic third ball attack.
The third ball attack from Enzo Anglaise puts the rally to rest. 5 serving 8.
Almost caught the edge, but Enzo wins both on his serve.
Enzo looking right at home against defense. I mean, if you take Enzo's forehand power and give him the edge over Desaint-Allon, that puts a lot of pressure on Angela Guan. She doesn't want to face any potential sweeps from Hong.
Second serve here for Matthew Desaint-Allon.
Lorenz and Wong are up next after this next point. Desaint-Allon earns the split.
Desaint-Allon with side spin and everything else from down near the ground, hooking forehand.
Enzo had him slightly off balance, but Desaint-Allon kind of guessed right. He needed to recover, but Enzo goes back to that forehand side when he had the line wide open. All right, Lorenz takes the table with his team down by 4. Struggled against Jinshin in the singles match moments ago. And Wong picks up where he left off.
The opening attack is the professors with that forehand flick. All that feeling in the short game. Both players looking for the attack. 6 serving 11. Reverse pendulum, tricky spin, good
So they split
delivery
the 2
here.
points on
Professor
Roman's
now
serve.
with
Now
the serves,
Jinshin has 2
11-7,
serves.
2 serves
Princeton
to
still
come.
up by 4. It began with a 5-0 lead. Oh, how about that? Just ridiculous, and he takes a lap around Roman's side of the table, adding insult to injury.
So good.
How does he do that? 12
He
serving
did wave
7.
We're gonna
courteously,
have a
but
compilation of those just from their singles match in the Golden now.
and Wong wins 3 out of 4. Lorenz, frustrated, kicks the ball. That's huge for Princeton. Gives the Revolution a cushion.
Yeah, and a great
heading
job.
into Guan and Lin.
Yeah, great job by Wang Jinshin there. It's going to help alleviate some of the pressure on Angela.
Serving 13 to Angela Guan.
This is where Carolina really needs Hong Lin to do some damage.
Hong Lin with the first point. Trying to hand on
Style
the table
matchup wise, definitely in her favor.
The touch play again, removing all spin. Hong Lin with the
Interesting to see if
dense
Angela
push.
tries any
And it is now 13-9
attacking shots
serves
here,
with
or whether
Angela
she's going to try
Guan.
and stick to the defense.
Each team has 1 timeout to use at some point in this Golden game.
And Angela gets the point off the serve.
Angela Guan service staying strong, 14 serving 9.
Three out of 4 for Hong Lin. Brings Carolina back within 4. We go to the top of the order again.
It's a great attacking effort from Guan.
Prishepa took 2 out of 3 from Prishepa at the start of the Golden game.
Yevgen Prishepa fashionably late to the party, 10 serving 14.
They'll play 4 points now. It will be their final 4 points of the weekend. Worth mentioning, we're only going to see Hong Lin and Angela Guan again if it's 20-20.
Motivation there is right now. 11 serving 14 and a timeout.
DuPont's a man on a mission out there.
Timeout taken by Princeton. Let's eavesdrop.
Interesting. Raise your hand if you
After you
remember
make
their
your
matchup
forehand
from earlier today.
Yeah.
Okay. Because now he's getting used to. Before it was good, but now he's getting
Came
used
back
to
to win.
Okay.
1-7 down.
And relax, just play.
Baston
A little bit
DuPont.
placement, take care of the placement.
11-3 the next game, but the final game was
open parallel.
Priscepa's. If
Down
you
the
were
line.
in Baston DuPont's spot,
Yeah, how
would
you
be
feel, but
fighting like
check.
crazy right now? Would
Come
you
on,
be
get-
trying to clear your traffic record? I know I would. This is personal, and it's crunch time. 3 points between them, and Baston DuPont has taken the first. Yevgen Priscepa, a veteran of the
Yevgen wants
game,
to use
has
all of
been
the
a
time
leader
here.
for Ukraine for the better part of
Go in
his
the table,
life.
step outside, stay low.
And now here at MLB,
Be behind the ball,
first
okay?
ever
And it's
American
making a little bit more
professional league
behind the
being
ball.
watched around the world.
Come on, vamos.
It comes down to the golden game.
Timeout has been used by Princeton Revolution. Gold Rush still has theirs. Baston DuPont to serve. 11 to
DuPont
14.
serving with Carolina trailing by 3. Top the top of the tape. Did not connect with the table.
In the backhand corner.
Priscepa with 2 serves and a 4-point lead.
15 serving 11.
Priscepa doing his best to try and bring back that 5-point advantage.
The ball with an almost no follow through. Priscepa 16-11.
and Jishan Liang up next.
DuPont with a nice
DuPont earns a split.
So
Bastion wins 4 of the 7 points that he and Yevgen play in the Golden Game.
Between them and Cobra Kai
Now it's
Jong
Kai
back
Jong
to the arena
and
with
Jishan Liang.
Jishan
They split their
on the
4 points
receive.
earlier.
12 serving 16. Right into the middle, the crossover point.
Kai going
Cobra Kai
straight to the
takes
body, and the
first.
gap closes.
13
One more
serving
point.
16.
Angles de Santillan are on deck. 2
As
big
heavy
winners
as
from
that
Kai
push
Jong.
was, Cobra Kai had
Carolina's
no problem
within 2 as the
loading it up
serve
and
goes back to
lifting.
Jishan.
The rip cross court, 16-14, a 2-point game. Jishan
You
Liang
knew
to
this would
serve.
just be a simple victory for the Revolution.
Never is. Jishan coming back in with a forehand of his own. Serve and attack is the big
Jishan extending the
strategy on
lead back
display
to
here
3,
from both players.
17-14.
Big point here. And Jong into the net. And so could have been back to the table down by 2. Instead, it's a 4-point game, and Carolina really needs Enzo to sweep. If you think about it, Wong and Lorenz coming up next. Wong has had Roman's number.
On the other side. The soft,
Enzo
shallow,
gets it
spinning
done on his
top spins
serve.
of Enzo Angles from the baseline of the table. 15-18,
18-15.
one step in the right direction.
Final serve of the weekend for the league's #1 player.
Serve sets it up.
Impressive
and
for DeSantillan just to get a
third
paddle
ball
on
for
that
the pressure.
forehand attack.
18
So it's a
serving
2-point
16.
game.
Matthew
For
DeSantillan
DeSantillan,
with
he can
2
put his team in a great
serves.
position if he wins just one of these next 2 points. Oh, goodness! Can you believe that? Nothing Angles can do as DeSantillan gets a little bit of fortune off his paddle.
Understand right now
Well
in these
aware of how
crucial
important
moments.
that point just was.
Not you, coach, not you.
Coach warning, 19 serving 16, DeSantillan.
Santalan gets a paddle on it. Angles does take 3 out of 4.
An almost
The only point for DeSantalan there was the edge ball. Obviously, it was a big one. It would be 18 all if that did not catch.
Yeah. The professor,
Now,
Jin Wang
final
on the
stand for
receive.
Roman Lorenz. And an opportunity for Jin Wang, who has been
17-19.
Princeton's MVP today, to close this thing out. Good deep serve from Lorenz. It's back to a 1-point game.
Tricky serve. And it pays off second serve
Lin
here
and
for
Andrew
Roman
Leguan,
Lorenz.
if it's 20 all, they'll play 1 point
18-19.
to decide a winner.
Steady and strong backhand opening from Jin Wang. He's set himself up here.
2
opportunities to close the door on the top team in the East Division.
2018.
To cap a perfect weekend for the Princeton Revolution. It's over. The Revolution is here. Princeton with a demolition over Chicago, Florida, and first place Carolina. A 3-0 weekend for the Jersey squad.
Solid performance throughout the individual matches in the Golden Game. Carolina Gold Rush, they surged back there towards the end, and things could have turned out pretty differently. As you said, it would have been 18 points each. There would have been some pressure on both players at the end there. What a performance from the Princeton Revolution. Of course, Carolina Gold Rush can walk away knowing that they're so far ahead in the point standings that the win or loss is not the end of the world, but it's a pretty big deal for the Princeton Revolution, that's for sure.
What that win does is truly put immense pressure on Florida. The Crocs need to put a number up in their final match of the weekend to really remain within striking distance, because it's a tremendous weekend for Princeton. Out of a possible 63 points available, Princeton gets 46. And Matthias Habasson has a smile on his face. Matthias, we all know what happened back in October when you had a 10-5 lead against Carolina. You can't just erase those moments from your mind. What was the difference in today's Golden Game for you and your team?
Okay, the last time we was leading 5-0 in the Golden Game in Myrtle Beach. As I already told you on Friday, I made a little mistake in the lineup, and that was, I think the problem the last time. Today I made it a little bit better, and we could manage it better today. But also, I must really say, the players played unbelievable today. I mean, all of them, they were totally in shape. Yeah, I mean, of course I made the roster because I was believing in them, but honestly I didn't believe that it goes so well for them today, because they really played, all of them played almost their A game, and I'm just so proud of my team, and also myself, sorry. I don't want to be arrogant, but today I think I made a good job with the roster, with the lineups, with everything they're preparing. So yeah, I'm just happy, I'm really happy, I don't know what to say, I'm really, really glad.
And after such a successful weekend here, which we've kind of already talked about it being really important, perhaps even more so important than the last match of the season, and being able to position yourself to finish off the season well and have a chance to make the playoff. What do things look like for you now, for you and the team now, between now and that last match in Lawrenceville? I mean, obviously, you're going to have some confidence knowing that you've won all 3 here. How do you make sure that you get over the line in that last match?
Yeah, I mean, this weekend was not only very important because of the points and the rating, as you said. It's more about the confidence. It's a big difference if you go as second to the last weekend or as third. Yeah, so this is a big difference. And yeah, we already planned some preparing for the last weekend together. And yeah,
I'm looking forward to all of this, to the preparation, to the matches.
I want to ask you specifically about Jinshin Wang. Both in his match against Roman and in the Golden Game, he was a force. What did you see from Jinshin today?
Just amazing stuff. Wonders, miracles. Some shots of him are just like amazing. You cannot explain them. They're in no technique book or something. It's just intuition and and feeling, and that's why I love him so much as a player.
Well, you came into this weekend, what, 13 points behind Florida. At this exact moment, you're 20 points ahead. Obviously, they still have a match to play, but unless they beat Chicago 20-1 or 21-0, you will be ahead of them heading into the final weekend of the regular season.
Yes, hopefully.
We'll leave it there. Congratulations, Matthias, on a fantastic, perfect weekend for Princeton. We'll see you up in your home stomping grounds in Jersey next month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. You're so nice. Thank you so much.
Matthias Habasson, a Revolution after starting 1-6, Matt, have won 10 of their last 12 matches. And we're going to chat with Jinshin Wang, who was just a force, as I said. Jinshin, you've played Roman a bunch. You never swept him 3-0 before. How'd you do it today?
I think I lost one time 0-3 to him, so I need to win back.
Well, you
I'm preparing.
You certainly got that win. Your ability to step around the table and hit winners, it was really working for you today. What were you most pleased about with your performance?
And I think I played him a lot of times. I just played like normal times, and more confident today. I think we can win today because team is ready. I'm ready.
And this is one of the things that stood out for me in the last match and also in the Golden Games. Some of the forehand flicks you were hitting were just crazy today. I know it's sometimes with shots like that you don't really practice them. You just have them. But is that something that you tend to practice a little bit as well?
Not really. Just that moment, I feel I can do it.
Well, you hit all of them today, so it's definitely a...
Just to ask you this philosophically, was there any different mindset for you going against Roman in your singles match versus going against Roman in the Golden Game?
Not big different. I think the Golden Game, every single ball, every point very important. More like focus on golden point.
You value every point more in the Golden Game. That makes sense. I imagine this was a pretty fun weekend for you and your team. What will you be taking into the final regular season showcase next month?
Yeah.
A lot of confidence?
More confident. Yeah, we're going better and better. Yeah.
Well, congratulations. We missed you last month, but good to see you back on the table, and congratulations on a fantastic weekend. Look forward to seeing you up in Jersey next month. Thanks,
see you next month. Thank you.
Well, the Princeton Revolution have shown that they can beat Carolina. They were winless in 4 chances against the Gold Rush. Yeah, look at the singles standings. They have, I mean, they outplayed them 10-2 in singles in that match. That was really the difference.
Yeah, I mean, solid performance. I really like what Matthias said yesterday when we spoke to him about choosing a team that he saw the potential of the team. And, you know, some of them were a little bit rusty, but he knew that the experience and the level was there. And I feel like he's invested the right amount to really get them back into their form. And we've just seen them going from strength to strength in the East Division. And to get 3 wins here, really impressive stuff.
They started 1-6. They are now 11-8. They have won 10 of their last 12 matches. And Princeton, for the first time this year, gets the better of the Gold Rush. They win the Golden Game 21-18. They win the match 16-5. And Princeton has put itself in position to be playing at championship weekend. They certainly head into the final East Division weekend next month as the favorite, but we still got to see what Florida can do. The Crocs and the Wind are coming up here shortly. The Revolution will keep celebrating all the way into March. For Matt, I'm Evan. We'll see you in half an hour for Chicago and Florida.